The Galactic Defense Academy's orientation chamber buzzed with nervous energy as recruits from 17 different species gathered for their first briefing. Commander Zextai's 4 eyes swept across the assembled cadets, her chitinous exoskeleton gleaming under the artificial lights. "Survival training on Kepler 438b will test every instinct you possess," she announced, her translator rendering her clicks and hisses into standard galactic. "The apex predator of this world, the Shadow Maw, has claimed the lives of seasoned warriors. Your mission is simple: survive 72 hours. In the back row, recruit Sarah Chen raised her hand. "What exactly is a Shadow Maw, Commander?" A collective shudder rippled through the alien recruits. The Vorthak delegation unconsciously stepped back, their pale skin taking on a sickly green hue. The insectoid Kreeth began their nervous mandible clicking. "A creature of pure nightmare," Commander Zextai replied, her voice heavy with respect born of fear. 3 meters of muscle and fang, capable of phasing between dimensions. It hunts by scent, tracks through temporal echoes, and has never failed to claim its prey. In 3 centuries of academy training, only 2 cadets have encountered one and survived. Both required extensive psychological rehabilitation. Sarah nodded thoughtfully, making notes on her datapad while her alien classmates exchanged worried glances. 3 days later, the transport deposited the recruits on Kepler 438b's hostile surface. The planet's perpetual twilight cast everything, in shades of purple and black, while bioluminescent fungi provided the only natural light. The air tasted of copper and ozone. Sarah had barely set up her basic shelter when the screaming started. She grabbed her emergency beacon and sprinted toward the sound, her boots splashing through the marshy terrain. Other recruits were fleeing, in panic, their emergency lights casting wild shadows through the twisted trees. In the distance, something roared, a sound like tearing metal mixed with a hurricane. Sarah crept forward, her heart hammering. Through the undergrowth, she spotted it. The Shadow Maw. It was even more terrifying than the holovids had suggested. Its obsidian scales reflected the fungi's glow, and reality seemed to bend around its edges as it phased partially out of phase with normal spacetime. Its 6 eyes blazed with predatory intelligence as it stalked a wounded Zephyrian cadet. Any sane being would have triggered their emergency beacon and waited for extraction. Instead, Sarah did something that would later puzzle xenobiologists. Across the galaxy, she started making soft clicking noises with her tongue. The Shadow Maw's massive head snapped toward her, its eyes narrowing. Sarah slowly crouched down, extending one hand while maintaining eye contact. A gesture that would have been suicidal with most Earth predators. But something in her mammalian brain recognized the body language of a confused, possibly frightened, animal. "Easy there, big guy," she whispered, her voice carrying the same tone she'd used with her German shepherd back home. "You're just hungry, aren't you? And all these screaming, running things are making you think it's hunting time." The creature tilted its head, those 6 eyes studying her with newfound curiosity. Sarah slowly reached into her pack and withdrew an emergency ration bar, synthetic protein designed to sustain any carbon-based life form. She tossed it gently toward the Shadow Maw, which sniffed it cautiously before consuming it in one bite. For the first time in recorded history, a Shadow Maw's aggressive posture relaxed. "That's it," Sarah murmured, pulling out another ration. "You're not a monster. You're just a big, interdimensional doggo who's been misunderstood." Over the next 60 hours, something unprecedented occurred. Sarah shared her rations with the creature, which began following her around like a massive reality-bending puppy. She named him Smokey, due to his habit of partially phasing out when content, giving him a smoky, translucent appearance. When the extraction team arrived, they found Sarah sitting beside her shelter, casually scratching behind the ears of the galaxy's most feared predator, while it made sounds suspiciously similar to purring. "Recruit Chen," Commander Zextai's voice crackled over the comm, barely controlled panic evident even through the translator. "Step away from the creature immediately and activate your emergency beacon." "Oh, you mean Smokey?" Sarah looked up cheerfully, continuing her scratching. The Shadow Maw had rolled onto its back, all 6 eyes half closed in contentment. "He's harmless, just needed some proper socialization and a consistent feeding schedule." The extraction team stared in stunned silence as Sarah produced a makeshift leash fashioned from her equipment straps and clipped it to an improvised collar around the creature's neck. "I've been thinking," Sarah continued conversationally, as if discussing the weather rather than domesticating a interdimensional apex predator. "The Academy could really use a mascot, and Smokey here has been lonely for who knows how long, haven't you, boy?" The Shadow Maw, Smokey, responded by licking Sarah's face with a tongue the size of a dinner plate, his tail wagging with enough force to crack nearby trees. 6 months later, Cadet Sarah Chen's file was updated with a special notation. "Species. Demonstrates unprecedented capacity for interspecies bonding. Recommend immediate assignment to Diplomatic Corps." Attached was a holographic image of Sarah walking across the Academy quad, a leashed Shadow Maw trotting beside her like an oversized, occasionally translucent dog. The Academy's insurance premiums skyrocketed, but applications from prospective recruits increased by 300%. It seemed that every young being in the galaxy wanted to attend the school where someone had turned the boogeyman into a pet. In the end, the humans hadn't conquered the galaxy through superior technology or overwhelming force. They'd done it by looking at the universe's most terrifying predators and thinking, "I bet you just need a good home." Smokey, for his part, adapted well to Academy life, though the kitchen staff never quite got used to preparing meals for something that could phase through walls to steal snacks. But that, as Sarah often said while giving him his evening brushing, was just part of the joy of pet ownership.